Boss, why do movie gangsters? Before he could finish, a kitchen knife flew at Kong, scaring him witless. I told you to call me master, and why are you asking this? My first master was a former gangster. To atone for his sins, he cut off one of his hands. Then he opened a sashimi restaurant because he wanted to use his knife skills to bring happiness to people. His skill is truly impressive. Why do movie gangsters always use sashimi knives? I'm curious, but someone with his level of skill shouldn't be asking such questions. Think about it, if you stab someone with a large kitchen knife, the skin will start to shrink. Will you be able to pull it out? Sashimi is very small, so it can be stabbed repeatedly and can be pulled out easily. It's easy to stab a human with just one stab, and the human can get a fish, but the human can't. A fish flies on a cutting board, making it easy to cut. If it could stand, it'd be a mermaid. In comics, every cut is swift and clean, but you lack skill, boss. Kid, I'm your master, not your boss. Even a god of blades would follow basic etiquette, understand? Back to the present, Mao Shan's huge arm was severed. He watched his arm fly through the air. For a moment he was almost dumbfounded. Not only his brother, he or Chloe were also stunned. Kong held the knife, motionless. The air around him became strangely cold. Mao Shan clutched his severed arm, screaming in pain and agony. My hand hurts so much. Kong approached him step by step. He was terrified. Don't come closer. I told you not to come closer. Help me. Mao Jun stared, dumbfounded, at what was happening. Shun screamed, calling for his brother. Brother, save me, you bastard. Hurry, he screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Kong, from behind, swiftly and silently beheaded him. In front of the worm's eyes is a pool of blood. His eyes were white, bloodless, his breathing was ragged. He died, his legs wouldn't move. He looked at his brother's severed face on the ground, his eyes wide, still filled with tears. Only then did he react, screaming. The knife in his hand shines like a shiny and sharp light tower. Calm down, this is empty space. That knife Shun is not really dead yet. Even so, I'm not sure what's wrong with that bastard, but it seems like this is the first time he dared to do something like that. Breathing heavily, trembling, is this just a coincidence? I have to be careful with that knife. Shun's mistake was being too careless. This weapon will unleash its full power when worn on both hands, and Determination Blessing, Enhanced Defense, Heaven's Blessing, 200% Power Amplification, Spirit Blessing, Reinforced Fist. Activate immediately. This is an A-class weapon that ordinary people wouldn't even dare to dream of. I don't know where you found that sword, but even an S-class weapon couldn't scratch it. I'm not like Shun. Kang's body trembled slightly. He muttered, counting down. Just stand there like an idiot. Are you denying it? I'll smash your head in. June heard his countdown. Suddenly, something felt wrong. What the hell? The knife glowed on Shun's body. June wasn't doing much better. He continued counting down to the final numbers. When you count to 1. His vision faded as he reached 0. System announcement, the effect of the painless divine power has ended. Because his hand still held the knife and had not let go, his ability now began to reflect back at him. I don't know how long it took for Kang's eyes to slowly wake up. When he opened his eyes, the ceiling was illuminated. He blinked a few times, vaguely wondering, is this a hospital? When he tried to sit up, he felt a sharp pain in his body. A serious-looking, cold man flung open the door and entered. Then he turned to those outside and said, the student is awake. People quickly rushed in. A familiar face, I recognize him. 50 years ago, he defeated the Demon King, the commander of the 6th Legion. 2 of the 7-star heroes. The stern-faced man, Siegfried, looked down at Kong, his brow furrowed. The strongest human, Siegfried, and the friendly Media. Are you all right? She asked. She's the headmistress of the Saints Academy, Media Poison. Why are these 2 people? What's your name? Kong Yoma. Get to the point, Kong Yoma. What the hell did you do? The atmosphere at that time was not my imagination, but the fact that I had done it. He looked up at the 2 strongest people. Being pinned by this monster isn't a good thing. Even if it was just a void dimension, I think their actions went too far. However, I also think my actions were excessive. I accept any punishment. Then, the two of them engaged in a fiery staring contest. Media sighed and mumbled, "This old fool, how can you treat a child like that even when I say so? Siegfried is the one who gave me blood when I was unconscious. People often say that the older they get, the more difficult they become, but that's not true, Star. Except for this face of mine, of course." "I told you to stop. Look at that old man blushing," Media said, taking the opportunity to get closer. "Why doesn't he scold me? My body feels so light, more like drenched." "Yoma, while you were unconscious, we extracted the recording and showed the staff the scene where you risked your life to protect a poor girl. You were truly like a prince in a dream." "No, I'm definitely a prince." Then I heard the annoying voice behind the Media grumbling, "Knowing this old man," he sternly said, "keep your integrity. There's nothing wrong with your actions in the exam, so don't worry. The truth is, the Mao twins got into the academy because they flattered the elders. They said they'd drop out themselves." He paused and breathed a sigh of relief. "That's quick. It seems like we won't have to deal with them at school anymore." "We're here to inform you." "Yes, thank you, teacher." "Yoma, you're one of the highest scoring students. Congratulations." He smiled foolishly, as if he hadn't heard a word. "What? What the hell? Where's my peace and quiet?" "At the academy's gigantic building." Media sat in the chair, sighing. "I've been the headmaster of this academy for almost 20 years, and this is the first time I've seen this." "At that time," Khan flatly said, "I don't want to." Both of them were shocked, speechless. They didn't expect him to react like that. "Yoma, do you understand the significance of the elite class? Did you hear that while the elders are very angry, the top student is decided based on the results scored directly in the dimension?" Khan remained silent for a while. "The results you presented haven't changed, but Media still doesn't want to accept it." Siegfried watched them argue without saying anything. Media's voice pulled him back to the present. "He's still upset that Yoma won first place, not his granddaughter. Why does he keep looking at his feet? How foolish." "Nothing is more foolish than doubting the judgment of the dimensional space, where the will of the Academy's founding hero resides. He chose him as the leader, so we just follow the decision, that's all. If his skills are outstanding, it's understandable. If his physique is excellent, we'll accept it. If he has extensive experience, I will nod in agreement. But an immature kid has shown. Every movement seems to contain some kind of concept. The swordsmanship that I have pursued all my life. Yet, I feel anxious about awakening his bloodline. A body that has never undergone physical training, weak and indecisive. It felt like there was something in his body that shouldn't be contained. At this age. And still having this competitive spirit, especially with a kid who's practically his grandchild. That face is so handsome, and the way he defeated the enemy to save a terrified girl. If I were 10 years younger, no, even at this age. Hey, old man, what do you think? Do you know what college students call women your age? Media, legs crossed on the chair, opened her mouth. Tell me clearly, what do they call people like me? He put down the teacup. The Media waited anxiously. Before Media's expectant gaze, he emphasized each word. They call you an old hag. As soon as she heard, her pupils constricted with rage. The entire table trembled. The coffee was about to spill under Media's pressure. Then, there was nothing more. Khan came to the wolf class, standing before the blackboard, slightly hesitant. He looked at the class signboard for a long time. This is the best deal I could get. She has to be moved to a higher class. Headmaster, she wants to go to the tiger class, the top class. How can she go there, in this school that emphasizes fairness? How can we, even then, not the tiger class? Instead, we'll help her keep it a secret. If we put her in the tiger class, the elders will make a bigger fuss. Completing her studies in a lower class is better than competing with higher-ranked classes. At least, everything is still under my control. I thought as I opened the door and walked in. The sound of the door closing was a bit loud. He seemed to be stunned for a moment and then observed that everyone in the class focused their eyes on the newcomer. No one said anything, no one seemed to care. He briefly noticed his unusual nameplate. Everyone returned to their own business, ignoring Kong. Kong walked down, choosing a seat, silently praying to be ignored. He was completely ignored. It seemed the principal had tried to keep his information confidential, a solitary person with his own way of life. Perhaps that was a good thing. He noticed the person who had just arrived. A red-haired girl named Chloe timidly spoke, apologizing and thanking him for what he had done. The space around them suddenly fell strangely silent. He was bewildered. She continued, referring to the exam. Only then did he remember the exam. Ah, that's what it was about. Why such a formal tone? We're the same age. I don't need thanks. Anyone would have done the same. In the end, it seemed like I saved her, but I was just trying to survive. I felt like a hypocrite. Now that I think about it, we haven't introduced ourselves. I'm Kanyoma. I'm Chloe. Nice to meet you. I didn't expect we'd be in the same class. I'm glad to meet you too. Kong tried to recall Chloe from before his time slip. Chloe, who is she? I've played almost every game, and I still don't know this character. From what I know, the latter part of the story focuses on fighting demons, a new character appearing now. It's beyond imagination. Ah, she's just a background character, like me. Oh, by the way, can you keep what happened during the exam a secret? Yeah, of course. By the way, if you don't mind. Before he could finish, the instructor who had just entered shouted, "Everyone, back to your seats." I politely told Chloe to talk later first. Congratulations on your acceptance. You have all been chosen to inherit the will of the founding hero, Valor Joaquin, a great honor. I'm Lee Wonbin, your homeroom teacher for the Wolf class. Today's the first day, so we'll start with some basic physical training. Change into your training clothes and assemble at the training ground in 30 minutes. A student asked, "What's the training, sir?" Simple, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and then 10 laps around the training ground. If there are no more questions, change and assemble at the training ground. Dismissed. Is this training to turn students into soldiers or something? Kong hesitantly approached the teacher. Sir, instructor, something's up. Kanyoma. I'm feeling a little unwell, sir. How did you know my name? Oh, it doesn't matter. The point is, I need to find a way to avoid this boring training. Teacher Lee pondered. Well, this training will make you stronger, or, how about switching to advanced spiritual training? The principal has allowed you to take all the classes. He was speechless. Damn that woman. No, I think I just need to rest for a bit. My body is tired, and this schedule suits me perfectly, worthy of being the top student. See you at the training ground. He changed and went to the gymnasium. He dragged his feet, slowly running on the field. The other students were energetic. 1, 2, don't be lazy, faster, faster. He was exhausted, breathless, and cursing, damn it. Amidst the shouts of 1, 2, 1, 2, he was struggling to breathe. Seeing this, Chloe ran over. That's tough, you don't look so good. He forced a smile. I'm fine. What lap are you on, Yoma? 5th. You, Chloe, you seem to be lagging a bit. I'm on the 9th lap. Kong felt embarrassed. Chloe cheered him on enthusiastically. Come on, you can do it. Then she dashed off to finish her run, leaving Kong staring after her. As the others ran behind her, her physical strength gradually hit rock bottom, and the last bit of her strength was used up. Soon, evening fell. Back in his room, empty mineral water bottles littered the floor. Not even a drop of water was left. He placed a bottle firmly on the table. Exhausted, he lay on the bed, sighing wearily. My gosh, I'm starving. In my first week at the academy, I encountered an unexpected problem. In the dining hall. He looked around excitedly. I'm starving, starving, a portion of pork, please, please hurry. The kitchen worker glanced sharply at him. He saw a food coupon dispenser right in front of him. It's free. I'll take a coupon now, a pork and rice set, please. As quickly as turning a page, the smile on his face vanished. He looked. I just ordered the meal and then looked at the price attached next to it. Then, A huge price board loomed before him, his voice trembled as he read, 50,000 won, for pork. He stood there muttering about the price, finally giving up and choosing a can of water instead. He squeezed the bottle until the very last drop. Thinking of his pitiful situation, he tossed the empty bottle away, starving to death. 50,000 won for a pork and rice set, that's highway robbery. I'm almost out of living expenses. He looked again at the mineral water bottle on the floor. Then, defeated, he curled up in his blanket. I should have saved that money. I'm such an idiot. I've been surviving on the cheapest water in the academy for days now. At that moment, a huge system board appeared before his eyes. Just thinking about it, the status window appeared, but... Saying this, he got out of bed and walked in front of the full-length mirror. Looking at his six-pack abs and significantly improved physique, he was satisfied. It wasn't a waste of effort. The sword god's blessing has opened up my meridians. At this rate, I'll reach new heights. The sword god's blessing hasn't leveled up yet, but if I keep improving step by step, I'll soon be able to wield a short sword. He looked at the knife on the table again. Just the other day at the entrance ceremony, I was scared to touch a sword, but now if I don't hold one for a minute, my hands and feet itch. Is this the effect of the blessing? Am I being a little too proud? At this moment, there was a knock at the door. Who was it? Who's there? He was surprised to see Chloe standing at the door. Oh, am I disturbing your rest, Chloe? Why is she here? He politely replied. Not at all, I was just lying down. What's up? She said shyly. It's been a week, and I haven't seen you in the academy cafeteria. I was worried you weren't feeling well. Oh, I'm not used to eating food cooked by others. He tried to stop his saliva from dripping. He secretly loved the idea. Oh, I see. Don't worry then. If you're okay with it, I was planning on buying some things from the academy's grocery store to cook dinner. Hearing this, he immediately went out. Let's go. She looked confused, and he added, Aren't you inviting me to dinner? I'm a great cook, so let me take care of it. Chloe's dorm is across the street, right? Let's go together. The scene changed to night time. They finished dinner. Chloe exclaimed, Wow, that was delicious. I'm glad you liked it. He doesn't throw anything away and is very fast. He looked at the clean plate, thinking about preparing the next meal. He thought, I only know how to boil fish. I've never cooked like this before. Let me check the fridge. But you really like fish, don't you? I'm from a riverside region. That's amazing, because my specialty is fish dishes. Good, I'm itching to cook too. Let's try making some sashimi, but the problem is... Looking at the small knives, he sighed wryly, the sword god's blessing. Do you have a longer knife? No, I understand. You know, my weapon is a sword, so I think using these knives is a bit strange. A moment later she returned to Yoma. Is this okay? She eagerly carried the sword. No, I only use kitchen knives. This one is not Japanese anymore. No, it's not. Finish within 30 seconds. Activate the painless blessing. I'll become the greatest swordsman. Looking at the fish in front of you, using the blessing of the sword god, the fish on the cutting board was quickly processed. He smiled contentedly. 21 seconds to remove the bones, fins, and fillet the fish. That's excellent, like a masterpiece. I'm still alive. Why are you so good at cooking, Yoma? I used to work part-time at a Japanese restaurant. Part-time. You don't know what part-time work is, she shyly apologized. There's nothing to apologize for, as I think about this class difference. Anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed the meal. Since you prepared the meal, let me do the dishes. Thank you, please let me. Now, my stomach, which was only holding on with water, has had a warm meal. His stomach was full and satisfied. Even the moonlight seemed more beautiful than usual. Looking at the moon made him want to hum a song. Suddenly, the sound of a broken bowl startled him. Chloe stammered an apology from behind. Apology. Then, several more plates and bowls broke. He chuckled, wondering if she had ever washed dishes before. Right, at that age, I had to wash dishes too. Suddenly, a notebook fell from the shelf, attracting Kang's attention. The notebook accidentally opened to a few pages decorated with cute stickers and drawings. Looking at it, he immediately recognized it. It's a diary, the round handwriting and cute stickers. Chloe is really just like other girls her age. I should put it back. He thought so, but the wind suddenly helped him turn the book. He hadn't intended to read it, but curiosity got the better of him. So cute, so that's why you couldn't talk to me. Should I read a little more? Reading the next page, he froze. The whole page was filled with repeated confessions of love, line after line. Every word was clearly a confession of love, yet Kong felt a chill down his spine. His frozen thoughts, thanks to the sound of breaking dishes, brought him back to life. You see, heroic families earn respect by slaying monsters, gaining societal admiration and consolidating their status. However, within these stagnant organizations, benefits are still granted to exploit the poor under the guise of authority. With the government's power lost, one heroic family rose up, cloaking themselves in darkness. That family is the Auditor of Sicily, a family that operates in shadows to pursue the light, combining upholding order with assassination. Those born into the Auditor family undergo a neurological examination before puberty, remove emotions, and undergo very harsh training. Or in other words, ever since I was a child, I have had to watch the person I love the most being blinded in front of my eyes. With a sword in hand, even trembling, even screaming 1,000 times that they don't want to, they are forced to kill their most beloved person. To become an assassin, the age when a girl first attracts herself by blood is 15 years old. Chloe, Auditor of Sicily, don't deny your assassination talent. That's what she heard before she was an adult. Chloe accepted it. Constant practice made her mentally twisted. It created a deep darkness in her heart. And so it continued until her reason completely disappeared, leaving only traces of emotion. Chloe reached school age. That's the Joaquin Academy, where students are placed in classes based on their skills. Although every member of the Auditor family, clearly dark elements, possesses skills above the dragon class, they are all placed in regular classes due to a family tradition, an agreement between the family and the academy. But Chloe brought with her the words the elder once said, "Disappear from my sight." Somewhere inside her, a dark void formed. However, 3 years of her youth were taken away from her family and her freedom was lost. Faced with the fate of becoming an assassin, Chloe didn't complain, she just accepted it and didn't think of a way to change it. She thought so until she met a male student who appeared on the entrance exam with some attachments from her perspective and shouted to attract attention. "Are you crazy, you wretched fool? Don't touch him." In the royal family's war in that space, even if this wasn't a real war, it would be her first time experiencing one. She wasn't afraid. Chloe calmly accepted the predetermined death. She had long given up on futile resistance. That's how she learned to live, and that's how she had always lived. We'll deal with you first, then that girl. Yes, nothing can be changed. Fate is sealed. Or has already been determined. But it felt like sunlight piercing the dark clouds of a storm. Something was burning fiercely within her. A sword wielded with all her heart, a sword drawn to protect someone. She was the reason that student used his sword. In her childhood, she always remembered the fairy tale she secretly kept beside her bed. The images and words told a story of a prince imprisoned in a castle. She immediately thought of Kong, the boy who protected her. A story about how a prince appeared and saved people. Her face flushed, her chest filled with an indescribable emotion. Chloe has only one unmistakable thought: love. Back to the current story, the forced smile on Kang's face suddenly twitched. Chloe was now filled with intense killing intent. He tried to force a more awkward smile than ever before. Then the room fell silent. Damn, it's not okay. What have I done? Was it when I saw this innocent girl, or when I foolishly followed her for a meal? He decided to open his mouth to Chloe. Isn't the moonlight tonight very beautiful? But the response was still silence. Seeing the situation escalating, he made his escape. Thank you, it's been a long time since I had such a good meal. I'll go now, see you tomorrow. She suddenly spoke. You saw it, didn't you? What that? He immediately thought of the diary he had just read. Ah, are you talking about this notebook? You must have studied very hard. She coldly interrupted. My diary. Hearing this, Kong fell silent. Do you have eyes in the back of your head? When did you see it? And that tone you always use? I told you to change it. I didn't. You haven't seen anything yet. I haven't seen anything. Don't lie. Yes, I saw it. Then the space fell silent again. Suddenly, a chill ran down his spine. Chloe, with a cold face, slowly drew her sword. Wherever the sword came out, a sharp light flashed. Kong instinctively stepped back. What? Suddenly. No, you don't want to do anything, do you? He considered jumping out the window, but Kong was currently on the 4th floor, the highest floor. If he jumped, he'd be smashed to pieces. What about the knife I used before? If I go that far, I will definitely lose a leg or arm. Chloe moved closer to attack. Kong hastily retreated a few steps. At this dangerous moment, the paper cutter on the desk caught his eye. Like an arrow, Chloe lunged forward, initiating combat. Cam reluctantly grabbed a paper knife to retaliate. I wanted to resolve this through talking, but it seems that won't work. A window popped up displaying the user's mental state. The status window of words and actions temporarily carried a threatening aura. Power was being adjusted for better compatibility. The Sword God's guardian deity has been activated. May God's blessings always be with you. One side, a long sword actively charged, the other, a paper knife, stood ready to retaliate. Regardless of whether she heard him or not, he said, Chloe, your hair is a bit long. Let me help you trim it a bit. I don't know how that little fight ended or how much time passed. Chloe woke up, clutching her head and muttering the name Yoma. Where are you, Yoma? I remember looking out the window while washing dishes. I peeked a little. Oh, right, my sword. When she saw her sword in the corner, she was startled. Then I breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, I often lost consciousness when holding the sword. When she was little, it was the same. Upon waking, she received praise from her grandfather. Looking at the sword, her grandfather's words echoed, "Don't deny your assassination talent." Hugging her pillow, she yelled, "Chloe, you idiot, why did you faint then, Yoma?" The more she called out Yoma, the redder her face became. Did I say anything strange while I was unconscious? Then she noticed the paper knife on the floor. Only then did she notice her hairstyle. Why was that paper knife on the ground? It seems my hair is shorter. Was that knife used to cut my hair? Looks like he cleaned up and left. Yoma is really kind. I should write it down in my diary before I forget. So she quickly went to the table and opened the diary, her eyes filled with love, taking notes. At the end, I ended up saying, Yoma, I like you, Kong. Over here, there's no such happiness. I'm stuck outside the campus. Everything I ate tonight is coming back out. Kong overcame that situation. He exceeded the 9-second mark by 5 seconds. That's what happened. Ugh, I'm about to throw up everything I ate for dinner. After expelling the food, he sat on the chair, sighing wearily. My whole dinner was gone and I'm so hungry. He looked up at the moon shining brightly in the vast sky, muttering Chloe's name. Usually, a swordsman's aim is to either take the enemy's life with one strike or subdue them. However, the sword Chloe used continuously targeted weak points, as if it was specifically designed for assassination. If I were ambushed, my head would definitely roll. Feeling my life threatened, my instincts targeted the back of his neck. Luckily, the knife was short, so it only cut his hair. Feeling my life threatened, my instincts targeted the back of his neck. Thinking about this, he couldn't help but sigh. I cleaned up quickly so there probably wouldn't be any other traces left. Everything seems fine and stable. Safety and security aren't easy at all. They often say that living a normal life is the hardest, but this is even scarier than that. The truth is that it's my first time playing this shameless game. I'm full of ambition. For someone who has reached the pinnacle, using a sashimi knife, abandoning the romance of a man isn't easy. However, everyone has their own mission. Miracle Blessing is the name of the game, and blessings are only bestowed upon the main character of this world, someone I haven't met yet. Besides the blessing of courage, B.A. Lo Joaquin, I remember there being only 2 legendary blessings in this game. They both belong to intuition. Please save the world from the Demon King. And the main character was chosen by the Holy Sword and the Demon Wound Wound, otherwise I still need to explain. Focus. Furthermore, entering this academy, constantly encountering unrealistic numbers and situations has made me forget my goal. Many reasons have held me back. Now I think, could it be that there isn't a single normal path in this academy? I don't understand the key characters in this game very well, but my knowledge of this world is also limited. It's only been a week since I started studying at this academy. The main character has appeared, and they've completed the enrollment procedures. That means the story of this game has truly begun. I know the general plot, but I don't know the ending. I can't believe I regret quitting this game, of course. Knowing the main story up to the middle is a clear advantage. No matter what happens, just follow the official route. If everything gets messed up, all the effort will be wasted. If I remember correctly, the Dark Ages will begin from semester 253. Smelling the birth of a hero, the demons will unite the forces of the Demon Master's army and come to threaten the academy. The scale will grow larger and eventually, between demons and humans, a world war will break out. But the game's story follows a rather cliché trope, a person pursuing a brilliant youth without experiencing adolescence, so I deleted the game. What's even scarier is that something terrible has happened in this world. War. I'll die in a war. No, there are still almost 3 years left. My most realistic goal now is to escape this absurd place. I can't just give up. I need to become stronger to survive. Most mass-produced games like this have a happy ending. This world will also be saved by the main characters, but I need the strength to protect myself. I can't just leave my fate to chance. Therefore, I need to train myself quietly. If I'm too outstanding, I might be called into the army to fight those demons, which is something I need to avoid. Furthermore, I need to be careful when using the instantaneous blessing. Why did I pick up that sashimi knife? Now the burden is on my shoulders. The system displays personal stats. He couldn't help but exclaim, impressive, but it seems there's a lot of new information. Physical, mental, weapons, the numbers here seem to represent levels. And what's this synchronization rate? What are these question marks? What's this? When he clicked to check, the system changed color, access restricted due to insufficient conditions. It doesn't matter, another mystery. The most important thing is physical training, and I need a new weapon. I can't rely on the 30-second instantaneous blessing forever. I also need to train with a sword, but not under the conditions of the sword god's blessing. Luckily, there's a practical combat test next month instead of the midterm exam. The reward for this training is the Mara's blade. If I can use it proficiently, that'll be enough to graduate. Its standards aren't the same as the sword god's blessing, so it won't be my main weapon. There's more to do than I thought. Lost in thought, a clear voice suddenly rang out in his ear. He then looked up at the other person, a breathtakingly beautiful face, dotted with sweat, hands covered in small wounds, carrying a shining sword. She said it was her seat. Then both were silent. She looked at him. He looked bewildered at the beautiful girl before him. The two kept looking at each other for a long time without seeing his response. She angrily asked him to move away for a bit, only then did he respond. Damn you, no matter how I look at it, it looks like a dream, so I just keep staring at him without paying attention. She said there was no need to go away, just move a little bit. Your seat is not shared, it's a class distinction. That's right, if you get involved with the main character, it will be very complicated, so even if you don't like it, you should stay away. I thought so, but my eyes still couldn't leave Abel. Unconsciously he glanced over and admired how beautiful it was. She suddenly spoke up, startling Kong. This is where the brightest star is. Hearing her say that, he unconsciously looked over again. Then looked up at the beautiful night sky. This is truly the Sword Saint's niece. I know why the handsome main character was so difficult to approach in the first place. Your weapon is also a sword. How do you know? You told me. I heard that swordsmen have completely different eyes. Hearing this, Kong felt nervous and couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Abel took his sword over and showed it to him. His proud eyes said if he wanted to try holding it. Looking at Miss Kong Hesitant's quality sword, it doesn't look heavy at all. She puffed her cheeks and turned away. He thought he was stretching. It's really hard to adapt. Is this really Abel? I know. Ben hesitantly asked, You know me, right?